This is at the Panama Museum. So you can get some pictures of some cool looking birds up there. Oh my gosh, cool. So we've got some cool birds across the street there. You can tell we're at the Panama Museum. And we're gonna check out the Panama Canal here in a little while. This is the main square for the Panama Canal. And so we're gonna just do a quick walk tour through here. It's actually really beautiful and it's really great. If you can tell, the weather here is very dark and gloomy right now. It's very muggy, very humid. Not as bad as it was, and it wasn't cloudy in Mexico, but it's super humid there. It's a little bit lighter because, like I said, there's overcast today. But you can tell it's in the off season, so there's not a lot of people here. The peak time of the year is probably super busy. Anyway, so we're gonna check this out and see some what we have here in the Panama Canal. And they use the US dollar, so we went to the casino to get out USD, and that was the cheapest. Well, it costs about $5 to get our money out, so can't say the cheapest, but $5 to get our money out. That's why usually we use the Charles Schwab account where there's no fee, but we actually didn't have time to put money down on that today. Anyway, so that's fine. This is what it looks like here. And there's the History Museum. Looks like there's free Wi-Fi, honey, right there.
In 2017, Panama installed 50 free Wi-Fi access points at bus stops all around Panama City.
Actually, look at the time on the clock there. You can actually see the time. The time is actually right on that clock. It's kind of neat. Neat streets. They're all looks like they're all brick. And we're out here on this street. We're walking. It's all cobblestone here. Kind of neat. This is like the main square. It's kind of cool. You can see they are religious here in the some of the square.
Construction began on the Metropolitan Cathedral in 1688 and was completed 108 years later in 1796. The original cathedral was built in 1520, but it suffered fires in 1644, 1652, and 1671. It was then decided a new cathedral would use stone instead of wood. The bell towers were the tallest in all Latin America for a very long time and are covered in mother of pearl. Recently, Panama spent $15 million and 5 years to restore and renovate much of the church's interior.
Susan's in charge today of taking photos. Usually I kind of do both, but she opted that. And you see there's the top of that pole right there. There's the security camera, so there's secure. Here's a significant piece of history. You can see the cost there. It's Panama. This is if you live in resident, it's $5. If you're non-resident, 15 each for the to get into the Panama Museum. Of course, I said, where you're from? I said, Panama. She laughed. She realized that I was full of crap. Anyway, so here we are. So, hello, Panama.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome. Enjoy your visit. In the office.
Thank you. So we're inside the Panama Museum.
Lighthouse thing.
The French Canal Lighthouse was built in 1893 in a design similar to the Eiffel Tower. The light was replaced in 1972.
And there's the lighthouse right there on the wall. Painted. Outside it's starting to rain. Perfect timing, but the rain was actually kind of cool. It's really coming down outside right now. But inside here, air conditioned, which is nice if you want to get out of the heat. Just come to the museum. The museum is actually, like I said, very air conditioned, beautiful, very well done. And so we're headed upstairs right now.
Panama has used U.S. currency since 1904. They do have their own currency called the Balboa, but they only use that for small transactions.
They don't speak English here, but we have a very big presence here because we were here for so long. Because of we built most of the Panama Canal. That's why they use the US dollar here. There's a secret door kind of that opened. Gracias. it was kind of crazy because there's a kind of a hidden door kind of, and the guard kind of showed us the way and it opened. That's kind of freaky.
The Panama Canal Museum is housed in the building that was originally used as headquarters for the French and the American companies that constructed the canal. The museum was opened in 1997 and covers the construction of the canal as well as some early history of the area and the eventual transfer of ownership from the U.S. to Panama.
A lot of the things are in English, but mostly in Spanish. So when you come here, if you want to read something, make sure you download your Google Translate so you can read a lot of this. Like I said, some is in English, some is not.
In December 1879, Count Ferdinand left France to build the Panama Canal. It would cost $210 million and would be finished in 1889. As director of the Suez Canal, he was able to raise the fund. Unfortunately, by 1889, his company had spent $258 million and was nowhere near completion.
Look at that. That is stunning. Very cool. Now here's some old money that's really cool from back in the day. These coins, see one from 1806. I saw 17. Here we go. 1798. That's when that coin was from. 1798, right there. In the middle there. That is pretty amazing. That is really some old money.
In 1846, the U.S. negotiated a treaty with what was then New Granada, enabling the U.S. to operate portage services, shortening the time to send U.S. mail and other items from coast to coast to only 40 days.
$1880, Scientific American Mag Journal. Colonel Masters, the owner of the railroad, Panama Railroad. Make it in the U.S. So it's probably cheaper to take it across the train, unload the boat, put it on a train, and take it back across Panama to reload the boat.
Or a different boat.
Or a different boat. And it was probably cheaper before they built the Panama Canal. And that's what that's about.
The cost in fuel and time made the canal a necessity, as well as foregoing the dangerous alternatives like the Drake Passage and the Bering Strait.
Here's old surveying equipment they used back in the day. Not much different than it is today, really. And here's some of the, looks like some of the treaties. A lot of work, a lot of digging. You know, I thought the New York subway system was a lot of digging. This is a lot of damn digging too. A lot of damn digging. We've all heard of President Roosevelt. And there's our president.
After the French gave up finishing the Panama Canal, Teddy Roosevelt decided the U.S. would finish it instead. But the U.S. also wanted control of the canal. An agreement was presented to Colombia, but they rejected the treaty, giving the U.S. the options of either going to war against Colombia or for Panama to declare its independence. Panamanians declared their independence in 1903. The U.S. promptly recognized the new nation, and other countries soon followed.
Meeting of the Atlantic and Pacific, the KISS.
1915, KISS. There it is. That's the newspapers back in the day. Looks like some people maybe were quarantined or for bugs or something. I know a lot of people died from malaria and different things. It was very tough.
They started building the canal in 1880 and finally opened in 1914 and caused the death of 30,609 workers from both accidents and disease. General William Crawford was a military doctor that focused on cutting back mosquito-transmitted diseases such as malaria and yellow fever in Florida, Cuba, and Panama.
Dying to better themselves. West Indians and the building of the Panama Canal. And Cuba's gonna have to do that too. And look at this huge old bucket. That was one of the original buckets. You can see how old it is. Very old. Looks like it had some holes in it here. Okay. I just got in trouble by the guard, not supposed to touch it. Anyway, that's the old bucket from this thing over here we just looked at. That is pretty neat.
Oh, I think it was made in China.
Was it? Anyway, that is pretty cool. That is the old bucket they used. And that's what it kind of used to look like, kind of like that. Those big machines we have right there.
While building the canal, they used 102 railroad-mounted steam shovels, 560 drills, 50 cranes, not to mention 600 million pounds of dynamite.
This is very important here. Because of the Panama Canal, the United States had formed a treaty to break off. The United States would help Panama become its own country and break off from Colombia. And we would help maintain the Panama Canal for so much money. So I think we actually own part of the canal. Well, what we've concluded so far is that America hasn't been very nice to their workers and hasn't been very nice to most of these countries and paid the least amount as possible to build it. And then it became a military complex later on. If you're thinking that's what you think it is, that's exactly what it is. Well, we're almost done with the tour. It's just, you can get a tour guide if you'd like, or you can do a self-guided tour. I'm kind of saddened how we treated the people over the years. You can't dictate the people how the government is. And the truth of the matter, we treat other countries and our people better than theirs, but we really treat other countries and people really bad over the years. It's kind of sad. And,
Very sad.
Very sad, and how we've treated countries who are here working and Panama people. And living standards. Of course, our standards were the highest. We treated ourselves better than everybody else, but it was not good. And I was kind of saddened. It's kind of sad, but we made it right under Jimmy Carter. And here's a thing of Jimmy Carter. Right there, shaking the hands. There's the treaty right there signed by Jimmy Carter himself. And Jimmy Carter made it right. And now in 2000...
He signed a treaty in 1977 to make it right in 2000.
Yeah. So it's they call it path to sovereignty, of course. But, and now they have their sovereignty. The other one kind of made us cry. Made us cry a little bit because we're so horrible as Americans just for the thing we do for money.
Yeah.
But the other one was probably what made us pretty sad was of course in Amsterdam. We went through
the Anne Frank house.
Yeah. But it makes us feel good that we're finally making it right now. But the Anne Frank and this one definitely brought us a little teary-eyed. It's humid, so those are actually not real tears. It's humidity. So anyway, and here's what it looks like from far down there. If you look, that's the top of the thing we first walked in, came from the lighthouse. You see the lighthouses around there. That is very cool.